Good morning and welcome back to Log Cabin Firewood. I am Jack, and today we've got some logs to get through. Stick around. So in preparation for the future wood boiler going here, we did get the couple trees taken out that we needed here. And man, look at this huge, perfect straight stick of oak here. It's one of the biggest trees on my property. It's beautiful. I love this guy. These guys were pretty careful when they were grinding over here. They said they didn't want to go too deep because they didn't want to damage the roots on this tree, which I was very thankful for because I like this guy. But we have a pile of wood back here that they put back in the back. I will probably get to this next. I'm going to take care of the stuff in the driveway first. This is a bunch of, I believe this is all gum here. There might be a couple pieces of maple. Yeah, there's 2 maple trees in here and the rest is all gum. This was one of the maples right here that came out. Another maple. And then 2 gums over here. And it looks like I have to do a little bit of reconnecting. They took out my underground fence for my dogs, but that's okay. We got a bunch of wood here. We'll get geared up and get to cutting. So we've only been cutting for about 15 minutes. We got a couple pieces cut up, not much. My goal here is to get this stuff cut up. I'm gonna keep working on this pile and try to focus on working myself that way. That way I can stack the rounds up here. Because right now I don't have anywhere to put the Easton Made or the conveyor. I need to try and get the Easton Made back over here where this pile of brush is. I'll probably end up burning that as soon as I get to it. But this is a good pile of wood here. I think this is way more than what I had here before. We had, what, 5? We had 5 cord here before. A little over 5 cord. No, just under 5. And you figure that stuff was stacked out to here. I think once I get this stuff stacked up, this whole pile is going to be pretty much full. But that's my goal. We'll keep attacking this pile from this side closest to me and stack the rounds up right there. I'm actually going to get the LogOX out and start stacking some of these rounds now. So this is the LogOX. This is one of my favorite tools. These are a bit pricey, but for ease of use, and y'all know I'm about making life easier, this thing right here is the cat's meow. Simply pick a piece of wood up and this thing just rides right along your hip. Just nice. It keeps everything out of the way. But you know, if you're a prepper like me, 1 is none and 2 is 1. Told you a couple videos ago I got another one of these. So let's go ahead and unbox this and see what we got. Now this one here I did splurge a little bit and I got the whole forestry combo, which comes with a few other things besides the LogOX itself. So here's the handle. Man, this stuff is made out of heavy duty steel. Like, this thing's heavy. And here's the LogOX. Number 2. What else we get? Oh, I got another LogOX koozie. That's awesome. And I got another LogOX sticker. The last koozie that I had, when we got little Miss Vada, she decided to eat this. We have a furbo set up in the kitchen, and Taryn called me while I was at work, and she said, "Hey, what do you have in the house that's orange?" I said, "I don't know. What do I have?" Well, it turned out that she ate my LogOX koozie. So that's cool that I got another one. But I'll show you what else I got with this, which I might be able to set up and use a little bit on this, since we're cutting some smaller stuff here. But this is the LogOX with the TimberJack. And this will go right here and get connected with these little clamps, which is very easily connected. This is not hard at all. It's perfect fit. And then you have your handle, which again, this thing's beefy. I'm surprised how like strong this is. I figured it would be a little lighter steel. This will go right through here, come across, and then there's another hole here. There you go. Now you have the whole TimberJack, or a cant hook if you want to roll logs. So let's check it out. But I'll show you how nice it is to have 2 of these instead of just 1. So if you have 1 of them, you know, you pick up your rounds, you know, you kind of got to lean over. If you pick up 2, then you're perfectly balanced on each side. Now these things do bite, so I really haven't figured out a good method of releasing it, but for making life easier, these things are awesome. There we go. Looks like if you just kind of lift up and chuck a little bit, it'll release. Up chuck. Oh yeah. There we go. That's the ticket. Just kind of lift up and snap. You just kind of. This is so awesome that I have 2 of these. I've been waiting for a video when I got a couple rounds so I could actually unleash this thing and show you. But if you noticed, I haven't bent over once. Kind of just, you know, leaned over a little bit. This thing's awesome. LogOX, you guys rock. Now, I mentioned this in a video before when I talked about the first one that I got. I'm not affiliated with LogOX. I paid for these. They are a bit pricey, but it's one of those things that's definitely worth it. Buy once, cry once. I do have a couple of the Amazon cheapies, and they work as well. They work just as well, but they're not as strong or rigid like these. Sometimes they become loose and you got to tighten them. There's not much here to come loose. These are built pretty good. It's got a lock washer on this one side, so unless that Teflon inside wants to come loose, these are going to stay tight. There is going to be a good bit of cookies in this pile for my buddy with his wood boiler. Now when you get to the heavier pieces, this does get a little harder. Some of these bigger ones, just got to take your time. But for like these little pieces, it's so nice to just, you don't have to bend over and grab these. I am on vacation for, I think, 13 days now. Today's the Friday before Christmas, so I decided to come out here and play a little bit. Had to run some errands this morning, and I figured I'd come out here and get a jump on this. Next week, I'm taking a little road trip to New Jersey. I'm actually going to go try out a different brand of equipment that I typically don't use or see around here, but you'll have to come back next week and check that out. It's a good friend of mine. But I think it'll be a good video. Go check out some of his equipment. Check out his wood yard. Watch out, Vada. Alrighty, got a couple more cookies here. Watch out, baby girl. I figured I'd start a pile of cookies over here away from where I've been working. Jump up. It'll even pick up cookies. Watch out, baby girl. Whew. Some of these big ones are hard, but it's still nice because I don't have to bend over. Now we do have a good bit of gum in this pile, but there's also a good bit of maple. And I'm probably just going to end up, some of these bigger pieces of maple, I'll separate it, but for the most part, all this is just going to get mixed up and go into one pile. We'll see what happens. Doesn't really like this smooth bark stuff. Let's see here. There we go. All right. I guess we'll roll some of these out of the way. The smooth bark stuff is hard to pick up with the LogOX. There we go. Yeah, there's some beech, there's some maple, a lot of gum. There will be a lot of cookies. But I guess we will get you set back up on some time lapse and keep rocking and rolling. And I will bring you back when I get to some smaller pieces, and we'll set this TimberJack up, and I'll show you how that works. So now we could demonstrate how this TimberJack works on the LogOX. Cool. And then we can just sit here and cut. So if anybody's been considering one of these LogOXs, I would definitely say save up and get one. You know, like anything in life, sometimes the nice things you have to save up for. Most of this gum we'll probably save for our own personal heating. Hopefully, by the time we get to this, we have the wood boiler. And we'll see if this stuff actually works in the gasification boiler. I'm not sure how the softer woods actually burn in a gasification one. So that'll be a good test. Something we could talk about. We are making good progress over here. We've got this, I've got a path here cut out where I can go through and stack all this stuff up, and then I can continue working my way through this pile. So I've only been out here maybe an hour and a half. My neighbor stopped by. He helped me carry the groceries in. Miss Taryn came home and Paul helped us carry the groceries in. Thank you, Paul. This is what we've got so far. I did come around here and start cutting on some of this, so this stuff's ready to be moved. We'll go ahead and get some of this stuff stacked up now. Today is tomorrow. Tomorrow was today. We left off yesterday where we cut these rounds up out of this pile. We're gonna continue attacking this pile. I also want to mention something. Cleanup is the most important part of the job. Yesterday, I didn't record it, but before I went in, I went through and shoveled all the sawdust up, made sure my path was clear over here, got all the cookies thrown in a pile, and now we're ready to attack this pile. But first, I'm going to sharpen the chain a little bit. So we do mess with the rakers or drags, whatever you may decide to call them. But I'd normally touch them up maybe every between 4 and 5 sharpenings, 4 and 6 sharpenings. Yesterday when I was cutting, this thing was still eating pretty good. I'm pretty confident it's still going to continue to eat. If it doesn't pull me into the wood like I like, I will start back over and we'll come over here and touch the rakers up a little bit. So one of the obstacles that you run into when you have a big pile of wood like this is, what do you do when you got a big piece on top? You got to be very careful when you're cutting around this, because if this thing comes down, you're done. The Firewood doctor actually mentioned this a couple weeks ago on one of his videos. And I said, you know what? I'm dealing with the same situation. Let's remind everybody. This thing weighs more than you and me and about 10 of us together combined. This will snap your leg, arm, hand, fingers, femur, whatever. So you got to be mindful about, you know, these things. I might be able to roll this off. I'm probably going to have to get my cant hook and push it. Yeah, I can't even budge it a little bit. Saw's out of the way. Saw's out of the way. There we go. Now we can attack this thing safely without having to worry about it crushing me. Well, as you saw, I was doing a little bit of noodling, which isn't necessary, but when you're dealing with rounds this big, and here, I'll set you back up. These rounds aren't that big, but they are, you know, about knee height, and that's not light. So to lighten the load, you can noodle this stuff, and that's just cutting it in, you know, quarters, thirds. This one here I did in thirds, and I realized that center one's going to be a little bit heavy. This one here I did in quarters to lighten my load, and I'll do the rest of these in quarters. And then this big crotchy piece, I'm probably just going to cut him right here, and this will become boiler wood for my buddy. My buddy's got a pretty good boiler pile started, and I am going to end up taking this stuff to him in the dump trailer. He normally comes over and gets it, but he doesn't like gum. So the gum in here, I'm going to at least bust it once in half. That way he can just throw this stuff in his pile and he can season this. He has a conventional boiler, so he can throw this green stuff right in if he really wanted to. Like anything, the drier the better, the more BTUs you'll get out of it. And I'm sure we'll get a bunch of cookies out of this mess over here. Some of the crotchy pieces that are still in this pile I did throw in here. There's a lot more wood left here, a lot of big pieces. I got a lot more work to get this stuff busted up. See, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 good sized pieces, and then that's not including the small stuff that's in here. Today is Saturday. I have family coming over here in a little bit. We're gonna have dinner. So I don't know how much more I'm going to get done today, but we'll do some cleanup in the driveway. Probably noodle these couple pieces here. I might start busting some of these up. We'll see. Well, I forgot to record an outro for me cutting all this stuff up over here. We did end up getting all this gum and maple and the few sticks of beech cut up here. And I did do this the week between Christmas and New Year's. I had 11 or 12 days off this year. So I kind of just, when I got out here and finished this up, I just blasted through it the day after Christmas, and I didn't even set the camera up. I still do have that pile back here in the woods to get to eventually, but we'll do that after it dries up. But after sitting here and editing this video, because I had a bunch of this stuff recorded, the next two videos I had recorded already as well. It's really hard to watch now because we lost Gary on January 4th, our golden retriever. Gary was only 5 years old. We got home on a Wednesday night and he went out, did his business, came back in, and he just didn't want to eat. You know, we thought maybe he just had an upset stomach or something, so we tried to go to sleep. We did sleep for about an hour, and then we were awoken by him panting super heavily. So we got up, we went to the first emergency vet where they told us to wait in our car, so we did. And 2.5 hours later almost, they sent us a message saying, hey, we've got one tech on, you're still 7th in line. Our vet tech's in emergency surgery and we don't know when we're gonna see you. So go home, try another emergency vet or call your regular vet in the morning. So we called around, everybody else was several hour wait, so we said, let's just wait and see if our regular vet can help us. Called them, no help. Their one vet was going right into surgery when she came in and the other vet was handling appointments. And then another tech got on the phone and said, hey, go to Hunt Valley, which is a little over an hour for us, about an hour and 20 minutes. She said, I work there and I can get him, or they can get him in right now. So we did that. We sat there for almost 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours. And then the vet came in and she basically said, you got a really sick pup. And what was going on was he was experiencing complete liver failure. We had no warning signs before this. Like, we've dealt with cancers with our previous Goldens, so we know to check their gums to make sure that they're a blood red or a bubblegum pink. And at no time were they yellow like she said they were. And they were. We saw them. I mean, within a matter of a few hours, his gums did go from nice blood red to complete yellow. And that's a sign of, I guess, jaundice is what they call it. And she said it didn't matter if we were millionaires. We weren't going home with our boy. But if you follow my wife on social media, she's been posting a ton of pictures, and as she always does, Gary was her rock. And I work 7 days a week for my real job. So our puppies are Taryn's rock. They're here for her more than I am. So it sucks. We made the choice years ago to not have human babies and to just keep having fur babies. And it's unfortunate that our time is so limited with them and that they can't tell us that they're hurting or that something's going on. Like, we really had no sign that this was going on. We didn't know. And until him just not wanting to eat, we had no clue. And this was just, it came on all of a sudden, and it was very traumatic for us. But I've opened the doors to my life for you guys, so I wanted to share a little bit and give you a few pictures on here if you don't follow her on social medias. But we love you, Gary. We miss you, buddy. And I hope that one day I see you again. Take care of each other.